now going to lead us to Real Deal Economics. Get this, here we go. So England, if you are watching, pay attention. So there's a new digital dollar that's coming to the United States, which I'm going to explain. But if you are in England, this is for you, because now we know Europe is collapsing. This is some intel that landed on my lap today. And it is the following, that the major who's who of investors overseas in Europe have now pulled out all their money and have now begun to put it into the U.S. Federal Reserve, because interest rates are going up in the United States, which means they're going to reap the rewards and the profit of the percentage. Therefore, this is now leaving the UK and the people who have the pensioners, which I'll get to, in dire straits. In fact, I believe your morning news over there on Sky News, they just got the memo this morning, but they're not going to tell you what's going to happen starting next week and what's about to take place with a certain class of Britons, if you will. Check this out. Look at the stunned look on this economist of England, and his just stunned look on his face when he tries to explain the Bank of England. And then I'll explain what's about to take place after the fact, and then how this is going to affect the U.S. and the Commonwealth. Check this out.
From the Bank of England just now, Jane, with a rather extraordinary statement saying that they are planning a gilt market operation, which is an intervention from the Bank of England, they say, to try to restore orderly market conditions. Let me just read out part of this statement, literally just in the last few minutes. As the governor said in a statement on Monday, the bank is monitoring developments in financial markets very closely in light of the significant repricing of UK and global financial assets. The repricing has become more significant in the past day and is particularly affecting long-dated UK government debt. Now, what they're talking about there is essentially part of the thing we've been talking about recently, the yields on government debt, which have spiked up to the highest rate that we've seen since the financial crisis. The statement goes on, were dysfunction in this market to continue or worsen, there would be a material risk to UK financial stability. This would lead to an unwarranted tightening of financial conditions and a reduction in the flow of credit to the real economy. So essentially saying that this could will carry out temporary purchases of long-dated UK government bonds from the 28th of September. So that's what they are planning to do. Obviously, that's from today.
Sorry to cut across you, but just explain to us what the bank will carry out temporary purchases of long-dated government bonds. In layman's terms, what does that mean?
It means they are going... So long-dated government bonds, that is basically those... It's government debt. It's government debt that the government issues to try to finance itself.
So do we understand what this means in layman's terms, as the lady asked, and he just essed his pants there on live television, is basically the amount of debt in England is so high as the central banking system is now collapsing. Remember, the central banking system in the city of London, is really the flux capacitor of the New World Order. And this is now coming on the heels now, which he didn't say, of all the big investors of Europe who just pulled out all their money, as Europe is now dying. Okay, everybody's dying. The kids are all dying from the miracle jabs. The business has all collapsed because of this pandemic war. There's going to be a greater war there. It's going to be blown to smithereens, just like we saw in World War II now. And that's what's happening now. Here is the skinny. Starting next week, this is what came to me. Starting next week, there's going to be a bank run, and they're going to be taking people's money. They're going to start with the pensioners first. That's why they want all the pensioners, the elderly, the senior citizens in the UK. That's why they want them to die and get all the miracle jabs, because they want to take all their money to prop up the fiat dollar of the pound, which is falling. That's why the pound and the dollar are neck and neck. It's weird for the first time in a long time. And a lot of that capital is going into the US right now, which is going to prop us up, because they want to prop up the petrodollar of the Federal Reserve. That is the deep state money. That is the money they can create out of thin air to do what? To create perpetual warfare, which is what they're driving us into. So UK, my advice to you, you take it or leave it. If you got grandma, grandpa, or parents, you got a lot of money in the banks, prepare for a bank run. Starting next week is what I'm hearing. You have the Vatican, who supposedly has a major debt that they're about to default on October 1st. first week of October. We're not sure how they're going to pay that. Maybe they're going to use the British people's money. It seems to be, but this is going to affect UK like never before since World War II. Now, I say the US. Here's what I mean now. Now, as we're telling you this, the new digital dollar is now being spoken about at the Federal Reserve now. This is going to be affecting everybody. And just to put your mind at ease, it will not be anonymous. In case you were wondering, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is now telling us, oh, Jerome, you little sweetheart, you. Well, despite the privacy being one of the main concerns of the citizens of the United States, and how dare they like their little privacy? That's why it's not called, private message anymore. It's called direct message. Well, the concerns of the citizens have about the central bank digital currency called the CBDCs. The heads of the United States Federal Reserve and the European Central Banking, all these wicked. All the Third Reich of Germany just went and called it the EU, is where I'm getting at. Well, they've all confirmed that the new currency will not be just anonymous, in case you're scared and you're afraid of the dark as well. During an appearance recently, the chairman of the board, who is Jerome Powell, who's hardly a saint, the Federal Reserve chairman, said that the U.S. were to pursue the central bank digital currency called CBDC. It would be identified, verified, he said, unquote, and also not anonymous. Yeah, we get the point. How many times you want to tell us? You want to know what we're spending on. You're going to be better than the IRS, because the IRS is going to be abolished, and there's going to be a different kind of IRS that's going to be virtual. You're all going to have a bunch of hockey masks on, or just the whatever mask you're wearing now of the dead politicians. Then he's saying, quote, we would be looking to balance the privacy protection with identity verification, which has to be done. Of course, in today's traditional banking system, Powell added. Well, here's a little clip of the chairman of the board over there, Powell, who wants to reassure you that everything's going to be okay, nothing to see here, talking about the digital dollar, because it's coming. And I have to beg the question, are there going to be competing currencies? Because there should be at this point, because I'm not sure I want any part of this. I don't want any part of this. I don't think a lot of you do either. In UK, get ready to be rocked, because these people are going full steam ahead, full throttle.
Say briefly, Francois, that we haven't made, as you know, decisions to proceed or not, but we issued a discussion paper in January of this year, and we said that we think that there are 4 characteristics of, if we were to pursue a CBDC, it would at a minimum have the following 4 characteristics. First is intermediated. Second is privacy protected. But third is identity verified. So it would not be anonymous. It would not be an anonymous bearer instrument. And fourth is transferable or interoperable. So we would be looking to balance privacy protection with identity verification, which has to be done, of course, in today's traditional banking system as well.
Well, thank you, Jerome. You're just a real wealth of information, and I hope you these people are killing us right in front of us. They're not even hiding it anymore. But anyways, we have a hard break coming up. And when we get back with the halftime report, Lisa's going to go further into the banking financial crises that is looming and is going to be hitting the UK shores. Well, actually, just now. So you heard it here first. Do what you may, do what you feel is right by any means necessary if you are in that region. Also, if you do have a lot of ailments and a lot of anxiety from what you're hearing tonight, well, we want to express once again that there is a remedy to the season and a reason for it, and that is Real Deal Kratom. I took this last night. I might take some during the break here, because this is some wild stuff here. All you got to do is go to realdealmedia.tv/Kratom and just get rid of all the ailments that are mentally and physically stopping you from truly living. And I cannot recommend this enough. So that is realdealmedia.tv/Kratom. And it does wonders. Wait till you see the testimonials we're putting together for a special. So there's going to be a lot of that. Anyways.